Hey guys, how's it going? My name's the Breph and welcome to another challenge video. Today I am absolutely dripping because it's 31 degrees and baking, but I'm also dripping for a different reason, because this is the week where I ask the question, can you beat Pokémon Crystal with only a Vaporeon? And we all know what's coming. It's Plonkerboy 900. But before we go any further, I feel I should address the name scheme from last video. We had a fantastic number of guesses, ranging from the Mighty Morphin Power cast forms, to Animorphs, to even Disney's Treasure Planet, and my did we have a lot of Treasure Planet fans. Now while I am a little bit of a fan of Treasure Planet, it wasn't the one I was going for. No, I embraced my nerdy side, and so far only 2 people have got it right. At the time of this recording, a huge shout out to Matt and to Kyle, because yeah, I was referring to Morph from the X-Men. Used to be called Changeling, but since been called Morph, because for all of the same reasons, as other people have mentioned, cast form can morph itself with the weather, and that was my reference. Although, none of you are wrong, because the Mighty Morphin Power cast form and Treasure Planet, fantastic guesses all around. So I guess the main question is, why Vaporeon? And the answer to that one is, I think we all know why Vaporeon. If for some reason you don't, all I'm gonna say on the matter is I think we can blame Reddit for this one. But let's have a little bit of a laugh and try not to get offended by all of the adult content that is coming your way. And I'm sorry, I just have to include the jokes. But in terms of being a Pokemon and not a life-size plush that Plonkerboy 900 has cut a small hole into, use your imagination, it's kind of overpowered compared to what I usually use. With 130 base HP and 110 special attack, this isn't a Pokemon that one would consider weak, or even challenging. So why am I using it? Well, I'm doing it for the memes, and hopefully we'll all have a laugh. The rules for this one are incredibly straightforward. They're the same as ever. Vaporeon only in battle, no items in battle, but held items are allowed. And finally, TM usage is allowed in this one. So, on a video that is almost certain to get demonetized, let's embrace it, and let's begin. The game starts and we choose the female character, because I really don't want to make this one weird by choosing the male character, and we give ourselves the ever-inventive name of Breph. Of course, everything goes as normal. We make our way instantly into Professor Elm's lab, skip through a set of dialogue, and look at that on the table before us, it's our Vaporeon.
Damn, boy, he's thick! Boy, that's a thick-ass boy! Damn!
We get lucky and only have to reset a handful of times before we get ourselves a female one. And then I spend a little bit too long trying to think of an appropriate nickname to put on this Pokemon. Ultimately, I do consult the Reddit post and realise something. You can see it right here on screen, and that's where I came up with the inspiration. I name our Vaporeon Riley Reid. If you get the reference, oh, you're a naughty, naughty lad. Or lass, I don't judge. Either way, Riley and I head off on our adventure, up to meet 2 old men in a secluded house. Here Mr. Pokemon gets a little bit too excited because, as the name suggests, he loves Pokemon a lot more than you or I do. Ultimately, he hands over an egg. How has he got this egg? I don't want to know. But other than that, Professor Oak is also there, and he hands us an encyclopedia, the Pokédex. Not that we're going to be filling it up too much, but who knows what is going to end up being filled up by the end of this video. And if I know certain people that might be watching this, I'd have to say there's a high chance of it being a sock. But we leave that house with our rewards in hand, and we get a phone call from the professor telling us to return to the lab. On the way back, we encounter a red-headed man who decides he wants to tangle with Riley. He's got a Chikorita that he stole from the lab, and ultimately it doesn't really help him because we beat him and we make our way back to the lab only to be asked by the policeman what the bloke's name was. Of course, his name is Plonker. Wasn't going to be anything else for this one. I feel like this is a good point to introduce the HM slaves I've allocated for this game, and returning from previous challenges, Riley Reid is going to try and make her way through Johto and Kanto, accompanied only by her favourite things, her Bell-End Bellsprout and her Anal Beads Onyx. In ever linear fashion, the game leads us towards the first gym, which is Faulkner. He uses flying type Pokemon and has somehow managed to cheat his way in a level 9 Pidgeotto. Does the evolution help him out? Does it? Heck. Because at the end of the day, Riley Reid wags her tail a bit, and that's all we need to take down the Pidgeotto using our full, thick body. That's a full body tackle reference, by the way, don't get weird with it just yet. Well, with the first badge down, we've really only got one thing to do, and that's to try and make our way towards Bugsy. We managed to do all of the Slowpoke well stuff and head into the gym, only to be confronted with what is essentially no issue at all. By the time we arrive at Bugsy's gym, we've learnt Water Gun, and you just know the jokes are gonna start coming from this point onwards. Oh, and I wish I could say that was the only thing that was coming, but it isn't, and as we tackle the fight, Riley squirts that water all over the bug Pokemon in front of her, and we claim the second badge way too easily. It's like Bugsy's never seen anything of the sort before. Regardless of that, we do make our way through the Ilex Forest and arrive at Goldenrod City. I hate this place. But irrespective of that, we do still have to fight Whitney. She's so infamous in these games, and yet, for some reason, she was way too easy. Her Miltank obviously tries to set up a rollout, but in the end, getting tackled by that cow isn't anything to worry about. Again, we shoot the jets of water out of God knows where, and I hope at least it's water. But by the end of the battle, both her Miltank and herself are drenched from head to toe, and we claim the third gym badge. I feel like I need to give a little mention to the squirt bottle that we get after this gym. Yeah, I don't think I need to say any more other than the fact that we use it to squirt all over Bonsley Juice, who doesn't really like it for some reason. I thought he would, but you know. That paves the way to Ecruteak City and the Burnt Tower fight with Plonker. It takes us a fair few attempts because his ghastly haunter, whatever it is now, it likes to use Curse, and if it does that, let's just say that Riley no longer has the stamina she needs to do a good enough job. Either way, once this is done and we release the 3 legendary dogs that we will most definitely see again, we end up in Morty's gym. He thinks that he's going to be able to get the hang of us, but there's something he hasn't factored in. His 4 ghosts against 1 Riley Reid? 4 on 1? I think we favour those odds because we absolutely destroy his team on the first time of asking. We leave him breathless and hanging around while we get on with the next job. And I decide that task is not to head where we think we're gonna go, but instead go up to the Lake of Rage where we encounter a red Gyarados. With that done, we meet Lance and make our way back to Mahogany Town, where we go into the house only to watch him use his Hyper Beam on some poor man's chest before heading deeper into the hideout. Here we have to crack open some exploding balls to turn off the generator. When we do that, we gain access to Price's gym, and the old man is quivering before us. Why is he quivering? Well, he's scared, of course. Why else would he be quivering? Either way, I've neglected to mention it at this point, and I hope you've all noticed that we've managed to teach Riley Reid the move Attract. Yeah, you see that right. Riley Reid uses Attract and causes Pokemon to fall in love with it. Oh my god, what am I doing? My career's just gone down a fucking shit at this video, I swear to god. Okay, I'm back from my little mental breakdown, and that is the 7th badge claimed in the wrong order because it's not our 7th badge. We then make our way to Olivine City, climb the lighthouse, and meet the sick Ampharos. We're tasked with heading over the sea to collect some secret potion from a really creepy guy in a really small house. But before we head back to cure that Ampharos of whatever it's taken, probably too much heroin, we make our way into Chuck's gym. Here, he gets a little bit overexcited at the presence of such a sweet Vaporeon. He decides that he's going to have to crack his boulders over a statue before challenging us to a fight. A fight that he just so happens to promptly lose. Yeah, it was kind of inevitable, but somewhat a little bit too simple. Either way, that opens up the next gym for us. So back in Olivine, up the lighthouse, we give the secret potion over to Jasmine, who then pumps the methadone into Ampharos and makes her way back to the steel type gym, which is coincidentally where we're also going. This is usually a roadblock for me in these challenges, but this time it's anything but that. Usually the issue is Steelix, who likes to land his hard tail in places it should not go, but this time Riley Reid is just too slippery, and that Vaporeon manages to avoid the most brutal pounding at the hands of that tail, and ultimately manages to soak the Steelix until it can't go on anymore. And now everyone's favourite section of the game. Yay, we have to rescue the director. I sound so thrilled. We make our way underground and we have to fight Plonker again. He puts up a nice challenge, except it isn't a nice challenge and he's just too simple to batter aside. With that, we rescue the director and make our way through the ice path to Claire's Dragon-type gym. Now, on the face of it, we are in a slippery position here. She has Dragonair with those incredibly shaped tails, if you know what I mean. And yeah, this is kind of a worry. Except it isn't a worry because we have Aurora Beam, and dragon types are obviously weak to ice, meaning that we really only have an issue with the Kingdra. Now, it isn't too much of an issue. She does use her hyper potions or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's no more difficult than repeatedly sinking our teeth into the little seahorse. And we should claim the 8th badge, but Claire's a little bitch and doesn't want to do it. So we're sent off into the cave to answer some questions. Questions along the lines of, what are Pokemon to you? Where the temptation is totally just to say underling. I mean, it's a Vaporeon. And also, what is the most important thing for raising Pokemon? Which of course the answer is love. But really it should say, what's the most important thing for Pokemon raising you, if you know what I mean. Coincidentally, the answer to that one would be Vaporeon, and anything else is wrong. Anyway, that means we've claimed all 8 badges of Johto and can make our way to the Pokemon League. The first member of the Elite Four is Will, the Psychic type user. And between Aurora Beam and Bite, we've got this entire team covered. Does anyone want to hazard a guess at how difficult this fight was? If you answered not very, then congratulations, you are astute, and that means that we can move on to the second member of the 4, Koga. As an ex-gym leader, he should know what it's like to have to train. Unfortunately, he didn't get the memo that you still need to do that when you get promoted to the Elite Four. He isn't too difficult. Between Aurora Beam and Surf, we've pretty much got his entire team bagged to rights. Not as much as we have some members of Bruno's team bagged to rights though. Bruno has mainly fighting type Pokemon, but they all have somewhat bad special defense, so Surf pretty much makes the most of it. He really isn't that difficult. The only exception to the Surf rule is the Onix at the end of his party. We use Aurora Beam for that one, but it's still weak to it, so it doesn't really make much of a difference to the end result. The fourth member of the four was the one that caused me the most issues, and I really didn't expect any. I was kind of surprised that Karen caused so many problems, until I realised her name is Karen. I probably should have seen that one coming. The main issue is Umbreon, and that isn't surprising given the incredibly high defensive stats that thing has. But at the end of the day, when we get past it, we've got Aurora Beam to deal with some, we've got Surf to deal with others, and pretty much every other member of her team is accounted for. Even that slippery Gengar that she throws in there to try and trip you up is weak to Bite. So once Riley Reid is finished sinking her fangs into the flesh of that ghost, it makes no sense to me either, it's just what I've written down, we make our way through to the champion. Lance uses dragon types and really should have me worried. Except no, no, he doesn't have me worried at all. He leads off with a Gyarados, which is a pain, but just like the last time we fought one, it's no different to just biting it over and over and over until it goes down. The Aerodactyl he has is even less of an issue because, again, we can just use Aurora Beam. And he has 3 Dragonite as well. Each one of those Dragonite go down to a single Aurora Beam, and his Charizard, well, it's a Charizard. 1 Surf, and that's all it takes to have beaten the Johto League. Of course, this challenge is not over yet. We still have an entire region to go. We have to do this whole thing again. Literally, this whole thing minus 4 fights again. That's how long this game is. It's not necessarily that long because everything in this version is just pitifully weak. But nevertheless, we do it again. And I decide to start by doing this in reverse order. So the first gym in Kanto is Blue, and he uses a mixed team. It's his team. Everyone knows what his team is. It really hasn't changed, and actually our coverage is just as good. We've got Aurora Beam, we've got Surf, we've got Bite, we've got Attract, but that's mainly for the memes. And his team is pretty much covered from head to toe. And not in what you think it is. We're talking type coverage now. Get your mind out the gutter, people. Anyway, the 8th Kanto gym, or the first in our case, it goes down and things only get easier from there. Next is Cinnabar Islands Blaine, except we have to go to the Seafoam Islands because apparently a volcano sprung out of nowhere and wiped the entire island off the map. Yeah, I don't understand either. But either way, we head inside of a cave and we meet the Fire-type user. He says we should bring a Burnhill, but we bought a Vaporeon. A Vaporeon Star. Haha. Oh, kill me. 3 Surfs later, and we're walking out of there victorious with the 2nd or 7th badge in hand. Now we've got Sabrina, the one I've been waiting all this time for. I'm very disappointed that she didn't get to keep the whip from Gen 1 because... Damn. Wait, hold on. How old is Sabrina in Gen 1?
Yes!
Oh, thank God for that. Oh, could have some fun with that one. Nevertheless, she's got rid of it for this one, and as disappointed as I am, I take great pleasure in using Surf and drenching her entire team until we claim that badge. And now things kind of get boring because that was the fun bit of Kanto. Aww. Yeah, well, we head off towards Janine's gym, and when we get there, we realise that her poison types are no more effective than that of her dad's, and that's the 5th badge claimed. Then we head over to Celadon, where we have to fight Erica, who also looks pretty damn good. Wait, how old is she? Whew, dodged another bullet, lads. Either way, we have Aurora Beam, and she has a team full of grass types. So, does anyone actually care? I mean, we all know how this goes. She gets completely frozen, and that's the badge. Third is Lieutenant Surge, and this one really wasn't that much of an issue. Despite us being a water type and him having electric, we're fast-ish. We're strong, no doubt about that. And we have an overpowered move in Surf. The Lieutenant finds himself being short-circuited, and we are walking out of there victorious. The penultimate badge that we get to claim is against Misty, and she's got them short shorts on, boy. Wait, hold on. How old is Misty in these games? No, guys, please. No, I swear, I'm not nappy. I swear I'm not. Please, don't send the...
FBI, open up!
All highly inappropriate jokes aside, and I apologise if I've offended anyone with my satire, but Misty really wasn't that much of an issue thanks to her downplayed levels. This is the advantage of doing Kanto in reverse. We start with the hardest and they only get easier, despite type advantages, disadvantages or neutralities. Speaking of type advantages though, the final gym member is Brock, and I said gym member, I meant gym leader. Hashtag Breff's a pleb. We have a water type move that is ridiculously overpowered and stab, and he has rock type Pokemon. Just use your brain and imagine how this goes. If you don't want to, it's on screen now. The thing that I love about this fight is we finish it at level 69, and I couldn't have played this any better. Because with the completion of the Kanto side of the gym challenge, we've only got one trainer left to fight, and that is Red. So I make my way through Mount Silver with the Peaky Blinders all on my mind.
No fucking fighting!
We stand before the man who has a magical way with words, and we kick the fight off, initially, at level 69. Nice. Anyway, long story short, although we can defeat Pikachu, look at how much damage Aurora Beam is doing on Venusaur. Yeah, unfortunately, we just don't do enough damage or can take enough damage to be able to get through this. Even using Attract, we still can't seem to do it. Now I know we could wait for RNG, but I'm a little bit impatient, so I head back into the cave, completely ignoring that previous message and fighting everything I can find. I come back at level 77. Why so high? Well, I kind of got a little bit distracted and just ended up pressing buttons while I was watching a comedy special on YouTube. And yeah, this is the level that we ended up at. On the upside though, we kicked the fight off and are able to beat Pikachu again. No surprises there. The bigger surprise might be that we only took a couple of attempts from this point to beat Venusaur. And when we do, everything else is just too easy. Yes, Snorlax takes us down to some low enough health to have me concerned. Yes, Espeon does something similar. But Blastoise and Charizard, they didn't stand a chance. And with that, we have beaten Pokémon Crystal with only a Vaporeon. Well, wasn't that a bit of a journey, turning a kid's game into, oh my god, I'm genuinely going to be on some watch lists. I feel like I should take this time to say hello to the FBI agent that's currently watching this video. Look, you've heard Pokemon, kids, and Riley Reid in the same sentence. If this doesn't get demonetized, then somehow I've dodged a blinder. At least the FBI can't come and take me away because I live in the United Kingdom. Hello to the MI5 agent watching this as well. Regardless of whether or not they've stayed around for the end, I hope they've had a fantastic time, as much as I hope you've also had a fantastic time. This has been a bit of a laugh. Of course, it was an easy challenge, but this was a meme, who cares? Good news is that there isn't going to be any more Vaporeon content, at least on this channel for a while. I've got other pastures that I want to travel to, and other challenges that await me in the future. Hopefully you'll all be there for those as well, but if you're not, you will be missing out, because they're going to be a lot of fun. Would I recommend this challenge? Absolutely I would. Being an evolution, it's not going to be a weak Pokemon Vaporeon, so I think we all knew it was going to be possible. But nevertheless, it was a lot of fun. You don't have to use a name scheme like I did, but that just added to my sense of humour. Either way, if you do try it, let me know how it goes, because Vaporeon levels up slowly at the beginning, which took a little bit more time than I was expecting through this challenge. Anyway, please do like and subscribe for more content like this. Leave a comment down below with any future suggestions that you might like to see me take on. Well, with all of that said, your time is greatly appreciated, so thank you again so much for watching, and I hope I see all of you in the next one.